Hello and welcome to IAMC TV Radio. Today we're exploring the top news headlines from December 20, 2024.
Lots going on around the globe.
Yeah, starting with Canada.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's leadership is facing a major test. The resignation of Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland has really intensified criticisms
For sure.
of his handling of the economy, especially with inflation and the rising cost of living.
Right.
He's planning a cabinet reshuffle.
Oh, wow.
But some members of his own Liberal Party are calling for his resignation.
It'll be fascinating to see how this plays out. Will Trudeau manage to hold on to power? Or could this be the beginning of the end for his time as Prime Minister?
It's a critical moment for him for sure.
What are your thoughts?
If he doesn't regain control of the situation and the economy doesn't improve, he could face a no-confidence vote, potentially leading to an election. And right now, the polls suggest that an election would likely favor the Conservative Party, adding fuel to the fire. The newly appointed Finance Minister, Dominic LeBlanc, has the unenviable task of dealing with President-elect Donald Trump's proposed 25% tariff on Canadian products.
Oh, geez.
This trade tension could further strain the Canadian economy and Trudeau's political standing.
Moving on to the Russia-Ukraine war, this conflict continues to dominate global headlines. Putin has said he's ready to meet with President-elect Trump to discuss the ongoing situation, which has raised eyebrows in Ukraine and beyond.
That's right. Trump's claim that he can broker a peace deal within hours of taking office has caused a lot of anxiety in Kyiv.
Yeah, I bet.
They're worried about what concessions they might have to make in order to achieve peace. Especially with Putin asserting that Russian troops have the upper hand and expressing regret for not launching the offensive sooner. What's interesting is that despite this confident exterior, Putin has admitted to facing economic challenges due to the war, acknowledging the impact of Western sanctions and expressing concern about rising food prices.
So while he's projecting strength on the military front, there are hints of vulnerability on the economic side. And then there's his comment about potentially using Russia's new hypersonic ballistic missile, the Oreshnik, against Kyiv, which he framed as a high-tech duel with the West. This kind of rhetoric certainly doesn't help to de-escalate the situation.
Definitely not. And it underscores the high stakes involved. The death of a senior Russian general and a recent bombing in Moscow.
Oh, wow.
Which Putin condemned as terrorism. Further adds to the tension.
For sure.
He even criticized the security services for missing recent assassination attempts.
Oh, geez.
Which suggests a level of paranoia and instability within the Kremlin.
Shifting our focus to the Middle East, Pope Francis's recent remarks about potential genocide in Gaza have sparked controversy.
Yes, he referenced international experts who believe the situation in Gaza, based on available evidence, has the characteristics of a genocide, and calls for a thorough investigation. This has understandably drawn strong criticism from Israel.
I can imagine.
Which insists its offensive is targeting Hamas militants and not civilians. Amichai Chikli, Israel's Minister of Diaspora Affairs, even publicly called on the Pope to clarify his position, emphasizing the sensitivity of genocide accusations for the Jewish people in light of the Holocaust.
This situation highlights the difficulty of navigating such sensitive historical and political terrain. Let's turn our attention now to Africa, where there's news from Gabon. The ruling junta has decided to lift the curfew that's been in place since the coup in August 2023. Just in time for holiday celebrations.
It's a move that's likely to be welcomed by many Gabonese citizens.
Yeah, I would think so.
Who have been living under strict restrictions for over a year. However, it comes after some recent incidents that raised questions about the junta's commitment to human rights. There were reports of young people in Libreville being arrested for breaking the curfew, with some alleging they were punished by having their heads shaved.
Oh my God.
So while lifting the curfew might be seen as a gesture of goodwill, it's crucial to see if the junta will uphold basic freedoms in the long term.
Meanwhile, in Nigeria, a rather bizarre development has occurred. In the case of human rights lawyer Dele Farotimi, the Ekiti State Magistrate Court, which was scheduled to deliver its ruling on Frauders' bail application, has claimed that the ruling notes are missing.
This is a strange turn of events indeed. Activist Omoyele Sowore, who was present at the hearing, tweeted that the magistrate received a phone call during the proceedings and then adjourned to his chambers, before announcing that his notes had disappeared.
That does raise concerns about potential outside influence in the case. It will be interesting to see how this unusual situation unfolds. For those who may not recall, Farotimi's arrest was prompted by a petition filed by prominent lawyer Chief Ife Babalola, alleging that statements in Farotimi's book about Babalola's influence on the Supreme Court could incite public fear and unrest.
Yes, this case has already generated a lot of attention, and this latest development just adds another layer of complexity to an already intriguing story.
Now, shifting gears to U.S. news, President-elect Trump has hit a roadblock in his efforts to pass a spending bill.
That's right. The bill, which Trump backed, failed to pass in the House of Representatives, facing opposition from both Democrats and Republicans.
Wow.
38 Republicans joined Democrats to vote against it, making it clear that there are deep divisions within the Republican Party itself, especially when it comes to fiscal responsibility.
This comes after conservative Republicans voiced their opposition to certain provisions they saw as fiscally irresponsible. Even Trump and Elon Musk had criticized an earlier version of the bill. With the deadline for government funding fast approaching, lawmakers are now in a race against time to avert a partial government shutdown.
A shutdown would have significant consequences,
For sure.
impacting a wide range of federal services and leaving federal workers unpaid right before the holidays.
Yeah.
It's a high-stakes situation, and the pressure is on for lawmakers to find a compromise before the deadline expires at midnight on Friday.
It'll be interesting to see if they can bridge the partisan divide and reach an agreement in time. Before we move on, let's touch upon a few other notable headlines from around the world.
Certainly. In Abuja, Nigeria, there was a concerning incident where soldiers reportedly attacked and chased away officials who were attempting to demolish illegal structures on land belonging to an army general.
This incident raises serious questions about the rule of law and military overreach in Nigeria.
Absolutely.
It's a worrying sign when the military interferes in civilian matters in such a blatant manner.
It underscores the importance of civilian oversight of the military and the need for accountability when those lines are crossed.
And finally, a tragic story out of Ibadan, Nigeria, where a children's carnival ended in disaster.
Yes, a stampede during the event,
Oh, no.
which was organized by Naomi, the estranged wife of the Ooni of Ife, resulted in the deaths of 35 children.
Oh gosh, that's awful.
It's a heart-wrenching situation,
Oh.
and Silicanola has been arrested as part of the investigation into what caused this horrific incident.
The investigation will hopefully determine whether there were any lapses in safety protocols or negligence that contributed to the stampede.
Right.
Such a tragedy underscores the importance of careful planning and crowd management for large public events, especially those involving children.
For sure.
So looking at these headlines collectively, they paint a rather sobering picture of the challenges facing the world today. From political instability and economic woes to ongoing conflicts and tragic accidents,
Indeed.
there's a lot to be concerned about.
It's a reminder of the interconnectedness of global events and the ripple effects they can have.
Right.
The decisions made by leaders in one part of the world can have far-reaching consequences for others. And while we see these challenges, it's also important to remember that there are people working tirelessly to address them. That's true.
To promote peace, justice, and human dignity.
That's a crucial point. It's easy to get overwhelmed by the negativity, but there are always individuals and organizations striving to make a positive difference.
Right.
It's important to acknowledge their efforts and support their work in whatever ways we can.
I completely agree. These headlines also serve as a reminder of the importance of staying informed and engaged with current events. It's through understanding the complexities of the world around us that we can contribute to meaningful dialogue and positive change.
Exactly. And perhaps as we reflect on these headlines, we can each ask ourselves, what role can I play, however small, in making the world a better, safer, and more just place?
That's a powerful question for each of us to consider. Even seemingly small actions can have a ripple effect, contributing to a larger movement for positive change.
It's been quite a day for news, wouldn't you say?
It certainly has, and as we've seen, these events are all interconnected in ways that we may not always fully grasp.
Yeah.
The political turmoil in Canada.
The ongoing conflict in Ukraine, the economic challenges facing many nations, they're all part of a larger, complex, global landscape.
And it's a landscape that's constantly shifting. What we see today could be drastically different tomorrow.
Precisely. And that's why it's so important to stay informed, to engage in critical thinking, and to consider multiple perspectives when forming our own opinions.
It's easy to get caught up in the headlines and the immediacy of it all, but it's crucial to take a step back and consider the long-term implications of these events.
Right.
How will the potential power shift in Canada affect its relationship with the United States under a new administration? Will Trump's attempts to broker a peace deal in Ukraine succeed? And if so, at what cost?
Those are great questions. These are questions that will continue to unfold in the months and years to come.
And these questions demand our attention, our analysis, and our willingness to engage in thoughtful discussion. The world is full of challenges, but it's also full of opportunities for positive change. By staying informed and engaged, we can each play a part in shaping a better future.
I completely agree.
Thank you for listening to the Today's Top News Headlines on IAMC TV Radio.